Not getting closure after a breakup can leave you feeling pretty confused and hurt, and deep down inside, afraid that maybe you were never enough for them. And maybe that's why it's over. And maybe that's why it really hurts, because it feels like you're not worthy of this person's love at all. It's painful, and it's the kind of pain that keeps you up at night. Now, here's the thing. There is a way out of this. There's a clear path to closure, to clarity, to letting go, and to finally moving on. And here with me, you're going to do just that. You will find that closure, and not just find that closure, but rebuild your life and truly start to feel good about who you are without anyone else's validation. It's not easy, but this is the solution, and it starts right now. You will get there step by step, together with me. Now, the critical thing you have to understand here is this. Closure isn't something you get from someone else. It's something you create within yourself. And once you begin to realize that, you'll naturally start to let go and feel free again. As you watch this video, I'll guide you through powerful steps to help you along the path. Now, if you haven't watched the first video in the playlist, How to Get Over a Breakup When You Still Love Your Ex, then you can do it now and then come back to this process. Also, if at any point it becomes overwhelming for you, then stop and go do any of the meditations at the end of this playlist. Okay, let's start with step 1, redefining what closure really means. Many of us believe that closure is something our ex needs to provide, an apology, an explanation, or one last conversation to tie up loose ends. But genuine closure is not about them. It's about you. And the reason I say that is because closure is ultimately about acceptance, and acceptance is something only you can give yourself. Now, you just cannot ignore how important this is, because relying on someone else for closure means you're waiting for them to validate your experience or give you a sense of completion. But this is the truth. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter how they feel, you are still the one who decides how to define and move forward from what happened. Now, what that really means to you is this. Even if they gave you all of the apologies you want, even if they gave you all of the explanations you want, even if they answered every question you have, it still comes down to whether you are ready to let go. Now, this is essential because true closure is about how you accept responsibility for your own emotional well-being. It's about how you stop yourself from needing their actions or words to determine your own inner sense of peace. Now, some people naturally understand this right away, but for some of us, it takes a moment to accept it as true. So, to put it simply, when you create your own closure, you are no longer held hostage by someone else's choices. You are regaining your power, you are regaining your control, you are regaining your ability to step into a better future on your own terms. So, right now, instead of waiting for closure to come from someone else, let's begin the journey of creating it ourselves with step 2, acknowledging the purpose of your feelings. One of the biggest hurdles in moving on is facing the whirlwind of emotions that you might be feeling. Now, it's important to recognize that it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. We all understand that as you're searching for closure, those feelings of pain, those feelings of loss, those feelings of heartache will begin to grow stronger and stronger inside of you with every thought, with every unanswered question, with every moment of self-doubt. You might notice those feelings coming up to the surface and starting to overwhelm you. Now, what you might not yet realize is that those feelings serve a much higher purpose. Now, often they are overwhelming. Often we try to push them away. Often we try to ignore them because they're so uncomfortable, because they're painful, because we're worried about appearing weak. This is critical to understand, because denying those feelings and ignoring their higher purpose only prolongs your suffering, which causes that pain to grow stronger and stronger inside of you. So what I'm going to do right now is teach you a very powerful technique to help you quickly and naturally acknowledge this higher purpose, let go of that pain you're feeling, and find closure. Now, if you learn and use this technique that I'm about to show you, you'll avoid feeling stuck in those emotions, and you'll instantly gain a sense of calm, emotional clarity. And you'll do it without being haunted and weighed down by any unresolved feelings. And the reason this technique really works is because as you start to acknowledge and understand the purpose behind those emotions, you'll begin to notice those emotions fading away, replaced by a feeling of clarity and control because they've done their job. Now, this is how you begin to navigate your emotions in a healthier way and find closure. So the general rule here is that when you want to find clarity and closure, then it's first essential to acknowledge your emotions and their higher purpose, rather than resist them or be overwhelmed by them. Sometimes this kind of self-awareness can feel a bit abstract, and the idea that you're really starting to listen to this higher purpose behind your emotions might seem strange, but there's a reason this technique is so effective. And that reason is because you're starting to connect with yourself and understand your feelings in a deeper and more meaningful way. Now, the more you do this technique, the more you'll begin to realize the primary goal of those emotions is to protect you and steer you towards choices that make your life better. Now, what that ultimately means for you is this: when you acknowledge your emotions and their higher intentions, then you can begin to let go of them and feel closure, because they will begin to let go of you. Now, I'm going to walk you through this technique step by step. This is best to do somewhere alone and quiet, but wherever you are, you can begin now by sitting down somewhere comfortable. And as you do that, allow your body to settle in, letting go of any tension as you gently close your eyes. Now, if that feels right for you, then let your hands rest naturally down by your sides with your feet uncrossed and relaxed. And we're going to start by first bringing your awareness to your breath. Really notice the breath as you inhale and exhale. Notice how your chest rises and falls with each breath that you take. Now bring your awareness to your body. Notice the area above your waist and below your chin. This is where your felt sense is. Your felt sense is an internal awareness. It's a sensation that captures the complexity of what you're feeling and experiencing. Now, as those emotions begin to swell up inside of you, this is the area where you first notice and really begin to feel your feelings. Now, with your eyes closed, take a few deep breaths in and consider how it feels to need closure. See their face as you feel what you most want to feel from your ex. Remember your breakup. Picture it in your mind. Now, as you do that, really see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel what you felt. Now, as you continue to breathe and feel those feelings, allow yourself to replay any memories and relive any pain that's inside of you. Now, fully notice what that's like to focus on the sensations in your body. Notice if the sensations seem to come slowly at first. Notice if the sensations seem to be coming quickly. Now, as you just continue to breathe and pay attention to those emotions and where they're coming from. Notice if there's a certain part in your body where the emotions can begin. And as you notice where that certain part in your body is, notice how there's a very specific, small point where it seems to start from. Now, when you pay attention to that point, notice how it begins to grow, how it begins to stretch, how it becomes larger, begins to spread across your body. Now, instead of resisting, breathe into it with curiosity. Notice what it's like to feel whatever you're feeling come up for you. Now, often when we allow ourselves to truly feel that emotion, it begins to shift and move. Notice where this emotion is showing up in your body and where it moves to as you focus on it. Now, perhaps there's a tightness growing in your chest or a sudden heaviness in your heart. At times, you might notice a sinking feeling in your stomach. Now, just whatever you feel, you feel. Emotions manifest physically, and being aware of this keeps you present and feeling them fully. Now, as you're doing that, you're going to identify what you're feeling and give it a name. Whether it's sadness you're feeling now, or anger, or anxiety, or fear, whatever feeling, you're going to notice that by simply naming the emotion, it will help you understand it better and let it go. And as you're doing that, just take a deep breath in, exhale, and ask that emotion, what are you trying to teach me or protect me from? Now, whatever answer comes to you is fine. Just let it happen. You might want to ask, what is your highest purpose? It isn't necessary for you to get the answer right away, although you may find it does come to you quickly when you just let it happen. Now, it may seem a bit unusual, but emotions like anger, fear, or even sadness are trying to protect you or bring something important to your attention, which means that by listening to this message behind the emotions, you can naturally let go of all the concerns those emotions are highlighting. Finally, you're going to acknowledge it, thank that emotion for its purpose, and then let it go. You can open your eyes if you haven't already. Now, recognize that even if it's uncomfortable, this emotion is trying to help you. Now, by acknowledging that, you foster self-compassion and begin to work with your emotions rather than against them. And this allows you to rapidly let go of any pain they once caused you. Now, here's what to do right now to continue the process of finding closure and moving on. Each time those emotions come up, take 5 minutes to sit quietly, close your eyes, and try this process with just one of the emotions you're feeling. Write down what you notice and thank yourself for taking the time to start this journey. Because by naming and accepting each emotion and its higher purpose, you're taking a crucial step in the healing process. Now, if you find this exercise isn't easy for you, then go do the meditation at the end of this playlist titled Opening the Heart. And do that until you can find that you easily recognize and release those emotions. Then you'll want to do this next powerful step for complete closure. Step 3, releasing any unanswered questions.